back, everybody, to some Magic the Gathering. We're doing the Sealed Crimson Vow, which is the new set that has come out. It is a follow-up to the Innistrad Midnight Hunt set, which was a little loosely based on werewolves and wolves and stuff like that, with a little more focus on vampire lore-wise. It's a wedding that has happened between Edgar and Olivia. Oh, sweethearts, aren't they? Thank you. So we're looking very forward to it. I have done one sealed event on a Friday to play around the event, so I'm looking forward to doing more of the same. Is to actually play maybe something a little different, change it up, have some fun with it. So that's what we're going to be going for today. I have enough to maybe get two. If I manage to win one game, I'll have enough to be able to do two sealed events. So that's our goal. If we're really doing good, we could potentially do... We can see how far we can go. We can probably do some great games. So that's what we'll be focusing on tonight. So hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. And I hope you enjoyed the content. As I tried to go into a little bit of over-explaining, trying to understand the cards as we move along. Maybe it'll be insightful for you and me. 2,000. Let's get it. Open. It's gonna show me all my rares out of the packs right away. Alright. So we see double reds already. So typically when I do a sealed, I'll open all my cards, in person at least, open all my packs, and I'll put them all by color coordination, but I will separate my uncommons and I'll separate my rares out of it, and they'll be in their own color coordination. But instant sorceries, creatures, all of us get put together. The reason why is because I'll go through my rares first, seeing what I think is going to be good, or if I have any that were multiple reds in the same set, and then I go to my uncommons and see what can also filter into each other, and then I go to my commons, and that's typically how I look through it. So we're going to try to do the same thing here. The one thing I will say right off the bat, it might help you in your future sealed events, is think about bread. Not just the bread you eat, but the bread that comes to Magic. B stands for bombs. Cards that are really good. That will change the battlefield. Maybe they're mass removal. Maybe they're Torville, the slug monster. That whenever it enters the battlefield or ends the turn, every creature gets every other creature, not your own, but any new creatures, get a slime counter on it, and then they get -1/-1 for each slime counter on it. You know, starts slow, gets bigger and bigger. It can start wiping out your enemy's creatures, and then you get death trigger effects for when those creatures die. That card can change the entire board state if possible. There's a lot of value you can get from those kind of cards. R stands for removal. Cards that straight up are destroy target creature, counter target spell. Mostly it's kind of stuff that controls your opponent's bombs, or evasion cards, which is what E stands for. And evasion stands for flying, unblockable, menace to a certain extent. Cards that get around your creature's board states in order to get that last hit of damage. A stands for aggro. Cards that not necessarily mean that they're doing trying to swing creatures constantly to attack. Just cards that synergize well. The cards that work well with the deck. Blood Vial being one of the main focuses. Disturb effects, recursion effects being other parts of the effect. D stands for duds. Cards that just kind of exist. They're there because it's a 2/2 Grizzly Bear and that's better than nothing. So you try to prioritize those kind of like in that order. Bombs, removal, evasion, aggro, and duds. I typically am a heavy removal type of player. So we're going to play around with it. So looking at our rares, let's see what we got. So we got 2 reds and 2 greens, maybe even a red-green deck looking at. We did get an inspired idea, which says Cleave. It's a sorcery. I draw 3 cards. If I play my Cleave, which is 5, my maximum hand size is not reduced by 3 for the rest of the game. Because that would be terrible, unless you're really pumping out cards. Kessing Wolf Rider. 1 drop for a 1/2 menace is not bad. The fact that you can pay 3, exile 3 cards from your graveyard to make a 3/2 wolf is not bad either. You definitely want to make sure you have cards that allow you to mill into your deck in order to get the value of that quicker. Because 3 for a 3/2 is not bad. The Howlpack Piper. Now this card is a bomb card. Spell can't be countered. Okay. May put a creature card from your hand into the battlefield for paying 2 and tapping this card. If it's a wolf or werewolf, untap Howl Pipers. You can only do it as a sorcery, but you can keep doing that in your main phase. And then, whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transferred to the Wild Song Howler, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library. I actually thought this was a different card. I thought this was just one that gives you hexproof and everything. This is what I would put as an aggro piece. Basically, it just allows you to accelerate quickly. I think I might have a good start for humans and werewolves. The Hammett Vanguard is a pretty good card. It has ward, so it's a little bit harder for them to get rid of it. 3 for a 1-drop. However, when it enters the battlefield, it gets 2 counters on it for each other non-human token you control, which it has to be non-token humans. So this would count it for it. This would count for it. So already, if I had these 2 on the battlefield, more likely I would at least have this one. It's gonna be a 3/3 for 3 that has a ward 2. Not bad. It's not bad. Senza Uprising. At the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 red human creature token. And if you control exactly 13 perms, you may sacrifice this. When you do, it deals 7 damage to any target. that could be an board wipe game or removal game right there. 7 damage is a lot of damage, and in a limited format, even though there is life gain, that's still a lot to just dunk on a person or dunk on a creature, which are a few creatures 5/6, 7/6 that could do some value. But Hamlet Vanguard is probably the big pickup here. Falconath Forebear, flying, always great in evasion. It can't block, which is a little unfortunate, but it does come damage. You create blood tokens, which blood kits, if you're not familiar with it, you pay a mana, you discard a card, you sacrifice the token, you draw a card. Okay, not bad. There's a lot of cards that get value off of it. Socialite, the Blood Wrath Socialite or whatever. It's a 3/3 menace, and then you could sacrifice a Blood Vial token to make it a 5/5. You know, not bad. You can sacrifice 1 mana and sacrifice 2 blood tokens, return this card back to the graveyard to the battlefield. See a little recursion with just this card. But I do agree, I think Stanza Uprising is a pretty great card. It's got a little bit of self-built removal. The Celtic Bullfighter is pretty good, so I definitely feel like red. Hamlet Vanguard does go really well with these cards as well. I mean, with the human tokens, I can get more value. Oh, non-human, or non-token. So this one doesn't synergize with the Hamlet Vanguard. The Howlpack Piper, though, can get more creatures on the battlefield. Maybe it can work with the Hamlet Vanguard as well. So again, we got some potential here. Let's go ahead and continue and see what our uncommons start to look like. We'll go from there. Debating going red-black. Because then I get a little more removal. I get a little more value off of the creature tokens themselves. I have a lot more recursion to play around with. A lot more Death Touch to play with. I think this is going to be the better one. I think green-black or red-black is what I need to do. I don't have any great payoffs, admittedly. But it does give me 2 rares still. Being the Kelsing Wolf Rider, which allows me to get wolf tokens later on, which might work well with any of the sacrifice. Then it gives me the Vampire, Falconath Forebear, 3/1, can't block, but creates blood tokens. And I mean, I have cards that work well with that, like Blood Crate Socialite grows great with blood tokens, you know? A lot of value right there off the bat. We want the removal. We're gonna pick it up. Death Touch is always great. We do have 2 Diagraph. We can play around that for now. Basically, just seeing what kind of removal I can play with. Don't think we can pull off Catapult fodder. I don't think we have enough big toughness kind of creatures. I mean, we don't have to have big toughness creatures. I mean, we don't even get the transform unless we count this one. Then getting 3 of these out and then swinging 6 damage at a person constantly. Anzi Uprising is great because it gives us a lot more to play around with. But the Lacerate Flesh is removal as well. So we have the beginning of the deck. We have 28 of 40 cards. We're gonna have things die, so the Lifelinker is gonna come into play. I think we can afford to get a exploit trigger off here. Vampire's Kiss, 2 damage, 2 life, create blood tokens. Undead Butler, 2 for a 1/2, but we can get some recursion off of that one as well. With the amount of blood tokens we have, we can definitely make Blood Hypnotist work. Trample. Yeah, I think we're just going to go for consistency with this deck. I think that's what we're hoping to pull off. We can try the ghouls in order to get a little more value. There's nothing that needs vampires, and there's nothing that necessarily needs wolves in this one. So we don't really have to worry about any cards stepping on each other's toes. Like, they all work with each other, which is good. And I think that's a very important thing to note. You don't always need your deck to, like, always be a certain set tribal. Just as long as they don't clash with each other, which is what we were running with the humans. Like, that green rare is great. But we don't have enough humans and the colors to make that happen, you know? We can take a look to see what a curve is. Right now, we have a lot of creatures at 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, and then 1 at 5-drop. We only have 12 creatures, so we could use a little bit more. Since we have okay early, like we don't have enough 2-drops, we could put in a few more of those. That's kind of what we're banking on. We could throw in the Catapult fodder. I mean, a 3 for a 1/5, it's not a lot of damage. But with 3 of them, I mean, they'll probably sit on the battlefield for a while. And they'll transform to 2 6s, you know? Because they're not going to get focused down at all. And then if it's coming down to the end of the game, toss one of these bad boys away, that's 6 damage to the face. I think what I like is maybe to pop those in, put the Mylian's Leech School, kind of think what you're thinking with the 1/1 human tokens, get a little revive. We're kind of looking at a mid-rangey deck right now. We could focus on another card that gives me value, or I can go for a Sure Strike or a Blood Fountain. Right now, we're very heavy on 3-drops. So yeah, I think this might be the deck. We're running 17 lands. I think that's fine, considering that we do have a 4-drops, 5 4-drops and 2 2-drops. I think that's great. We're gonna go ahead and choose the Goblin Sleeves because it's the best sleeve. And we need a name. I'm gonna go with Bloody Catapult. Yeah, we'll go with that. There we go. Alright, so now that we've built our deck, now we move into the actual gameplay. Alright, I think we spent like 30 minutes playing that, so hopefully this is not gonna be too long of a YouTube video as well, but that's alright. You know, I think deck construction is an important thing to kind of notice and pay attention to.